Hey friends, let's talk about the Raccoon City Police Department, or station, I guess that's what it says there. This is the new map that we are getting in less than a week on the 15th, and it is for the Chapter 20 Resident Evil, and that's because it is a map from the game. It's either from Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3, I'm not 100% sure. Whichever one it is though, um, it is supposed to be an exact replica. I can't confirm that because I don't know anything about Resident Evil, so very sorry to let you down with that, but from I trust the devs as far as saying that, and I don't think I've seen anybody tell anybody that it's not a replica or that anything major is missing. So it seems to be a replica. So if you have played the game before, you should have an easier time navigating this than I did. For me and someone who's never played the game, this was the most confusing map yet. I had a lot of trouble finding my way around this map. I'm not even gonna lie. Uh, it's just a bunch of hallways and then some rooms that don't really help mark where you're at or where you're going. Some of the loops, there are some very, very, very strong loops in the game. There's one that's like a library, I think, that has like an upstairs level of it that is just a very strong loop. Um, the one that I just ran through and passed is it can be strong if you go around at the right angle. And then there's some other loops that are just your basic kind of like rock and pallet loops, and then a couple that are just very, very unsafe loops that if you even try, you'll just get caught in a corner and die. Um, so I think it does have a good variety of strength between the types of loops that you get for survivor and for killer, which is pretty decent about it. The hard part is just finding them, getting to them, getting finding your way around the map. That's gonna be the hard part, but it is something we'll learn. I think this is probably the hardest map to navigate yet. If I had to describe it to anybody, it would be like if the game and Hawkins had a baby, and that baby was the same size, if not larger than Mother's Dwelling, because it's just a massive map. I think it's like 3 stories. It's definitely two. I'm pretty sure it's a 3 story map because I think the roof is like its whole other floor. So yeah, it's just a giant map, which for survivors is going to be difficult finding generators when you start out, or just in general. I know people sometimes still struggle finding generators on Hawkins in the game, and yeah, I struggle on that sometimes too, even though I know the map navigation really well. Um, so I do think that that's going to be hard, and equally for the killer, it's going to be hard to like watch and monitor a lot of the generator progress. Like unless you have Tinkerer or Discordance to see if people are stacking up, which I don't even know if that's going to be valuable. Like, will people stack up? Because like, can more than one person find the same generator? Or will people stack up more because they can't find other generators and only what's other people are working on? So who knows? This is going to be a map that uh yeah, you have to have some perks to help you monitor some generators to be able to do this map. And then on the other part of it is you also have to know how to get there. So Nurse is probably not going to struggle on this at all, other than just the same issue that she usually has with like multi-floor blinking, where it can get weird sometimes. I'm not very good at Nurse, so I know occasionally I'll be on the second floor and accidentally blink to the first when I'm in Midwich, and it's embarrassing, but so, I mean, a nurse doesn't have to really worry about navigation on this map at all. She just has to know where the gen is and how to get to it, where the survivor is, how to get to them. Anybody else, everybody's just gonna have to learn how to get around this map. So it's gonna be something, I'll tell you what. The good thing is it doesn't change at all because it is a replica map. It is just going to be the same layout every time. The RNG is just going to switch around, like the pallets, the totems, the chests, the generators, etc. And some of the pallets are like the one I just passed, absolute god pallets. Like you can drop them, and it's like the one at Larry's that there usually is, where you can just drop it in the middle of the hallway and they have to break it. Like they just literally cannot go around it. So that's that's pretty okay. And then you have some loops like these that are decently safe. Like there's a long and a short side, so the pretty standard loop. But good luck finding it also. um, oh, what else was there? I'm trying to, let me just be honest, I don't like the map. I'm trying to like be as um neutral about it as I can and let people give their own opinions because I do think that is important. But as somebody who really loves indoor maps, I just think that like I think this is a cool concept, but it really missed the mark. And I've seen a suggestion somewhere someone had where they said that it should be two maps. Like if they just split it in half and made it so that if you do the offering, you'll go to one or the other, you know? I think that would have been a much better idea as far as like breaking it down because it has to be the largest map we have so far. There's no way it's not, right? Like it's so big. Um and then while there are some decent loops and some okay, like that's not too bad, especially with the pallet placement. If you hit it at the right angle, you can drop the pallet on them and then get out of the room. Um me just jumping into a locker. I love the way Nemesis carries survivors, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It's hilarious. It makes me laugh. Um but if if you're gonna chase, literally, the survivors can, as a survivor, you can just hold W. You can just run in a straight line and you will make so much distance on this map. It's ridiculous because there's no way for the killer to really cut you off. Like there's a couple of areas that they could, but for the most part, they're probably not going to. Um, just because it's like it's you'll lose track of the survivor so easily if they just run in a straight line and you try to go around and cut them off somewhere. Um, so yeah, as a survivor, you can drop or you can run in a straight line. There's a pallet right in front of me. If you drop that, you're gonna gain so much distance because they literally have to break it. That said, with survivors just running in a straight line, it's not in a straight line the way it is like Midwich or Larry's, or even Hawkins, where it's like they have to go maybe 4 meters before they have to turn. It's you turn constantly. Like it's a straight line, but there's so many turns everywhere that um if for a ranged killer, like a huntress, trickster, deathslinger, like good luck. Honestly. I would love to watch some people playing some like ranged killers um on this map just to see like how well they actually do it, you know? Um, because it's just like look every time like I just go around this corner and then I think I go into this room and I go around this corner. Yeah. Like I'm breaking line of sight so much. Good luck to Myers and Ghostface. Um, look how far I made it before he even caught up. I didn't drop a pallet. Like it's just there are definitely some areas you could loop that are decent loops. I think I found like a library in here at one point that had like a second story that had like a long loop spot that you could do, which is pretty cool. Um, but and then there's like a couple of ones that are like they're strong depending on what angle you come at them. Like if you come at them at one side, it's a really weak loop. But if you come at them at another, it's a really strong loop. I think there's like 3 staircases that you can use to get from one floor to the other. There might be 4, but I've only ever really like relied on 3. Um, so yeah, like the loops are hit and miss. I think the loop variety is actually like the best part of this game because there are definitely some like strong ass loops that you could run for forever, like some House of Pain type loops that aren't but there's like one and then a bunch of like really medium 50-50 loops, some long short loops that we're used to always seeing from like Cold Wind and Auto Haven and stuff. So like those aren't um anything that's like super wild. So those are pretty standard. We got a lot of short loops, etc. Um so overall, and I think this here, our team, like we had 3 people. We were only at 1 gen. We've been at 1 gen for forever because I think honestly, I know I couldn't find the last gen. Like there's only 3 on the map. I couldn't find a gen. I'm sure the other 2 probably struggled with finding a gen. Like that's the hardest part of this map, to be honest. It's just finding your way around the map and then finding like the generators and everything that you need. Um, Another tip that I learned, apparently Resident Evil uses the color yellow to signify like interactable stuff. So if you see yellow tape around, that's usually a vault point. Um, this is one of those loops that I mentioned that if you come at it at the wrong angle, you're gonna have a bad time. The side that I came in at it on was the bad side. Um, so if you go in it from the opposite way that I came, you can actually go around that table uh clockwise. So you want to vault the window, go around the table clockwise, you can vault back into the window. And then at that point, the killer usually should go try to go around and you vault back through the window and then it blocks and then you can use the table to circle them to get out. If you try it the other way, the window blocks and you have to run a straight line to get out and you don't have a chance to get around them. So it's not like the safest loop, but it's one that you can hold the killer at for a little bit before you have to run. Um, this big room in here, if you can find your way to it, it is the middle of the map. And it connects definitely the first and the second floor. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's 3 floors in here. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy because it's just so massive. I don't know if I mentioned it already. It's a really good idea that I've seen. Somebody had the idea that this should actually be 2 maps, that like if you burned an offering, that it would um oh, I just ran past Hatch. I don't think I even saw that when I was playing the game. Um, no, I definitely saw it then. uh, if you were to burn the offering, right, and it sent you to this map, that it would actually be 2 variations of it, and like if it would be like 2 halves, and if you put the halves together, then it would all become one oh man, I don't even know how I'm doing this. Sorry, I'm just so distracted by that. But if you put it together, then it's like the map that it is today. But basically, if you were to do an offering, you either get the police station number 1 or police station number 2, and it's just divided in half, whether that's first floor and second floor, or like left side or right side. Just it would be only one or the other, and it would just make the map so much smaller, easier for the killer to control, and easier for survivors to be able to navigate and get around and find generators and everything. So I don't know if that's an idea that they'll ever take or not. Would be nice if they did, but who knows? Anyway, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the map, but I think I'll probably love it more once I actually learn it better. So I will see you guys every Friday. If you want to stop by on Twitch, please do. I'd love to see you, and I'll definitely be playing Resident Evil next week with Jill and Leo, or Leon.